all these donations started coming in from both private individuals, private institutions, and some government agencies. The follow the money started mapping. So we started mapping digitally, and we've mapped over 40 billion that have been mobilized, both from government, private individuals.
40 billion.
Over 40 billion. Over 40 billion. Interestingly, so we wrote freedom of information request to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We wrote a request to the Ministry of Finance. You
were seeking to know what?
So we were asking how much so far has
so that you can confirm what you have tracked here.
From whom? So what we're asking them is give us aggregated data, give us aggregated financial data of how much income you've made that have been mobilized, how much have been disbursed, and to whom,
and for
what purpose. So when we did this, they didn't respond to us. We even went to NEMA and asked, so what role are you playing in coordinating this effort? They did not respond to us. If you remember vividly, there was a...
Have they responded to it?
So let me now go back.
Okay.
Let me go to their response. So NNPC, we wrote NNPC and say, you have said you've mobilized $11 million. How would you utilize this money?
What are you using it for?
What are you using it for? And the GMD of NNPC responded to us on Twitter with his verified handle saying the companies who have contributed these resources would release it using their procurement and internal policy. But what was
the meaning of that?
Good. What his statement said is contrary to what he was confirming to us. One other institution, so we asked again, we pushed further, what does this mean? Because if you say this money has been accrued to support, are you paying this money into the account created in the CBN? And mind you, there is also a private sector coalition chaired by Aliko Dangote, who are also mobilizing resources. They have even come public and publish how much so far they have generated, which is over 15 billion from the private sector side. And they say this money is domiciled at the CBN, and they provided their account number in USD and Naira. Then the federal government said they also created an account with the CBN, but also created other sub-accounts.
The account that the federal government claimed they created in the CBN, it was to warehouse which kind of money?
It's to warehouse this intervention money. Now, it tells you that there's lack of coordination and transparency, and I'm getting somewhere. The FCT administration got 500 million from one of the private banks. I would not mention name. And we asked the FCT minister, this 500 million, what would you do with it?
Or what are you doing
with it? They responded and said 200 million will be given to NCDC. Directly. And 300 million, they were mute. And we asked, what are you going to do with this 300 million? Till date, they have not told us. But we've also asked NCDC, can you confirm that you've received the
200 million?
The 6 billion.
As well as
this 200 million. If you have, what are you doing with this money? Are you setting up testing centers across the country?
Are you buying anything?
Are you buying equipment? And we were also concerned with the fact that now there's going to be a lot of procurement because we need a lot of, ventilators.
Yes,
we need to set up
testing kits and a lot of things.
So we're asking them,
did
are
they
you
respond?
Also, no, up till date they've not. And we're asking them, are you also adhering to Nigeria's procurement laws? Because it's important, as much as we're in crisis, we must also adhere to the laws and the standard. And mind you, Nigeria is a signatory to the Open Government Partnership. So today they haven't. But, last week there was a fake news about how much government have gotten. And then the Ministry of Finance used their verified official handle to counter the fake news and said they've gotten only close to 30 billion. But that is not information. What is close to? Is it 30 billion?
Or 35?
Is it 35?
22?
So, but what is close to? Why are you now not using the opportunity, debunking the fake news, but also
using it to
this
say
is
what's
how much we've gotten, but these are the sources of this revenue, and this is how we're intending to spend it. The Minister of Finance, in responding to us, came public and said they were setting up an instrument for transparency and accountability. And then he hit us. You're setting up an instrument, or you're thinking of setting up an instrument while you're still receiving money. Then what instrument are you using
now let's go back
as you disburse these resources?
You have given enough for everybody to chew.